Hey guys, what's up? It's Sydney and welcome back to my series Haunted Locations, and for this episode we're going to be talking about White Rock Lake. I did want to mention that this is going to be a story of old ghosts and legends, and actually something that did occur there at the beginning of this month, and it's actually quite sad, but a crime did occur there, so I did want to kind of touch on it at the end and give you guys the information on it, so that way you could help if you know anything about the case. With that being said, let's get into the video. So White Rock Lake is located in Dallas, Texas, actually northeast in Dallas, Texas, and it covers about 1,015 acres. The lake itself is about 2.61 miles long, and the deepest point of the lake is actually 18 feet. So this beautiful lake is filled with catfish, bass, and a bunch of other fish that people enjoy catching while they're there visiting the lake, while fishing. People also use this place for hiking, biking, picnicking, bird watching, and unfortunately dumping dead bodies. So this lake is actually loved by a lot of the locals, as it is only 5 miles away from downtown Dallas. So before the lake was actually a lake, this property was owned by the Daniels and the Cox families, and they were farmers, so they had a bunch of farmland and even a cemetery on their property for the two families. Some reports say that the construction of this beautiful lake actually started in about 1910. So now we're going to get into the history of the Lady of White Rock Lake. It is a very infamous legend among the locals, and a lot of people do have different ideas of who she is and how she died and why she's there. So we're going to go into that. So the first account is that it happened in about 1935, and Louise Ford Davies was said to be a woman that lived in the area, and the only thing that I can find on her is that she left a suicide note for her sister saying that she was going to kill herself, and she mentioned that she was going to be at the lake. And by the time the police got there, which was about 5 minutes after she was expected to have arrived there, she was already dead, floating in the water. And the second account is that it was a woman in the 1940s, I believe 1942, and her name was Rose Stone. And she actually was suspected to live about like 30 to 45 minutes away from this lake in Mansfield, Texas. So I find it very odd that she would drive all the way to this lake to commit suicide when she lived so very far away. It doesn't seem like a plausible thing. But regardless, she did have a suicide note pinned to her sweater, and they did find her body there. I do find it kind of noteworthy, however, to mention that like neither of these women actually matches the description of the Lady of the Lake. She's said to be a very pale-skinned mid-20s girl wearing a white flowing gown and said to be dripping wet. The only thing that really matches is the time period as far as the clothing goes. So that's the only thing that people have like said that would match these two women. And the third account, which seems to be the most popular, and I could not find her name for some reason, even though it seems to be the most popular account. And the story is that she was on a sailing trip with her parents and she fell overboard and drowned. So the legend of the Lady of the Lake says that, like I said, she is dripping wet in appearance and wandering the streets along the lake. Many locals have claimed to have stopped to pick this girl up because she did look like she was in so much distress. And when they pick her up, she gives them an address, and they drive to the address kind of with an eerie feeling. And when they finally get to the address, they go to tell the girl that they're there, and she is not there. They don't see her disappear, but she is just not there. So eventually, one of the couples that this happened to, it happened to a man and a woman. They walked up to the address of the home that they were given by the girl to drive her home. And a man answered the door and was just as surprised to see them. In the first account that happened in 1943, he said that he was very surprised because they were the, I think, second or third couple to come to the door and actually ask about the girl. And he mentions to them that that's his daughter and that she died 3 weeks ago. And this was in 1943, so the description of the clothing that she was wearing actually matched with this time period. That's why they believe it to be her. But I couldn't find the guy's name or the address anywhere, which I thought was very odd because, I mean, I know like you're trying to keep your personal life to yourself and whatnot, but like there's no report of this. And some locals that have actually reported on the news state that the lady at the lake is actually a distraught bride. And I did forget to mention that when the girl does actually vanish from the car, she does leave a bunch of water on the seat, which is very odd because how do you explain that? Although the lady of the lake has put fear into many people, she's actually never been accused of being violent. She just seems like a lost girl trying to find her way home. And other than the mysterious Lady of the Lake legend, there have been a few bodies, the few that I mentioned before, and a few more recent ones that have actually been found here as well. So the last one I want to mention, and this is again more recent, this actually happened on the 1st of June this year at 5:32 p.m. They found the body of Shynell Lindsay, and she was a transgender woman. Very beautiful, bright, talented woman. She was unfortunately brutally attacked in this location, and they did find her body there. And they did have a suspect in mind for this case, but do not have enough current evidence to convict him, which to me is just so frustrating for the family. They deserve to have closure, and it's really disgusting to me that there are people in this day and age that still attack people for being gay, transgender, whatever. It makes me sick to my stomach. But like I said, it was a homicide and there were clear signs of obvious homicidal violence. And like I said, they do not have enough evidence to convict him or to convict any suspect. So if you do have any information on this case whatsoever, contact Detective Erica King, and the phone number is 214-671-3684. This is very different from the episodes that I usually do because I found this information while looking for a legend, and this is not something that I usually touch on in my videos, but I did want to mention it because I feel like out of respect, if we can help solve this case in any way, shape, or form, we should do so. So yeah, honestly, I got really caught up in the current case that's going on and kind of steered away from the Lady of the Lake for a little bit because I wanted to put more focus on this. So these are technically hate crimes. I feel like if anything isn't affecting your life directly, you really shouldn't give a shit about it. You really shouldn't. Like, even if you don't agree with like transgenders and you know, gay people or bisexual people or whatever, it's none of your fucking business. For one, you don't have to fucking live with these people, so why should it matter to you? But like I said, a lot different from my previous videos, and I'm sorry if this one caught you off guard, you guys, but I did have to talk about it because it just consumed my mind for the last couple of days. And if anybody from Texas watches these videos, I would appreciate it if you would share this video because that would be so helpful. And my full support goes out to the families that are currently dealing with this heinous act on them and their loved ones. So yeah, I did kind of want to touch on that because it is a very dark and unfortunate situation that is going on right now in Dallas. But to move on from that, I did look into this a lot and I fell in love with this lake. I do want to go there. I think it would be very, very cool to see the Lady of the Lake and maybe offer her a ride home, which would be awesome. I did get some new equipment also, so I'm going to be able to possibly talk to some spirits soon and maybe get it on camera, hopefully. That would be really cool. So stay tuned for that because I am going to try to do that in some of these locations that I have gone over. Obviously not going to be able to do all of them, but I am going to go there and try to connect. So It's going to be really, really cool, so stay tuned for that. But yes, I definitely am going to visit this one. I definitely want to go to Dallas to see this lake because it is absolutely beautiful from the pictures that I saw and everything else, and from what the locals say about it too. So it's said to be a very, very nice facility, even though a lot of unfortunate things have happened there in the past and currently are happening there now. But it is a beautiful, beautiful place, and I don't want to tarnish its reputation as being such because it is a very, very beautiful location and it is definitely worth going. But to wrap up this video, if you want, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Sydney's Poisonous. My jewelry shop is at Perfect Poison Shop, and the YouTube channel is at Sydney's Poisonous YouTube. And if you want to check out my jewelry shop, I am going to be having a sale soon. Like I said, go check that out. It's Perfect Poison Shop on Etsy. And I hope you guys have a really good week, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.